Hi everyone, and welcome back to Wander Freely. I am on my own. Chris is actually working on, ironically enough, booking campsites. And this video is about the second half of our campground post, which was our worst experiences. And we actually talked about it, and we couldn't really find any worst experiences. We've had great campgrounds. Overall, we have been so thrilled. You will find a real sense of camaraderie, a sense of safety, a sense of neighborhood living, at all the campgrounds. It's really, really a wonderful experience. However, we do have some challenges that we have been through in the past year, and most of that more so has to do with booking campgrounds. So I'm hoping, Chris just had a really, really funny experience, and I'm hoping that he will take a minute then and before he starts working again to share that experience. But we also wanted to explain a little bit more about campgrounds just to help you to find the right campgrounds and to see so that you have an idea of what you're coming up against. So we actually broke the campgrounds that we've been to over the course of the year into, let me see, 7 main categories. So 7 categories. Number 1 is the campgrounds that have full-timers who are retired and they're kind of in for long-term stays. So some retired people are moving around and seeing different things, but there are also a lot of them that have got to a point where they're really just staying in 2 campgrounds for the year, one for the winter and one for the summer. An opportunity in these campgrounds, we like them because they're quiet, they're clean, they're friendly. People kind of keep to themselves mostly, but an opportunity here that we definitely want you to take advantage of is that there are a lot of widowers in campgrounds, and some of them are really, really lonely, and you know, they could really use, especially for the men, they could really use a home-cooked meal. And so we've done that a few times and really been able to connect with some of them. So put that on your radar because that will make you enjoy those experiences much better. Second type is the campgrounds that are kind of smaller as well, and they're filled with full-timers, but they're people who are actually working. So they're younger people and they're working. These are great also because there's almost nobody around most of the time. They're working, they have a regular work day, they come home and you know, they're chilling for the evening. So they're very, very quiet campgrounds. What's also great is these usually have great internet, and since most of the people are gone all the time, you can have great Wi-Fi at these places. So that's something to look forward to. Number 3 are the family campgrounds, and you can run for the hills. No, I'm just kidding. We love families, we love children, and we love to see them enjoying campgrounds. But as full-time RVers, they're looking for pretty much the exact opposite experience that we are. They are looking to come and enjoy the camping and the campground itself, whereas we're usually staying somewhere to enjoy the surrounding area. So it's just a contrast. These do tend to be louder, they do tend to be messier. But keep in mind that most of that's during the summer. During the school year, these places are great. And this includes KOAs. They're a little bit pricier, so we usually don't stay at them because we do not use the amenities that they offer for that price. If you have a family with children, definitely you would use those things and it would be more of a value to you. Number 4, my favorite number, is state and national parks. Now, we thought we had envisioned that we would be able to stay at all these state and national parks. Truth is, it's a lot more difficult than you think. Number 1, we're working. Well, Chris is anyway. So to go without any internet and without any phone service for an extended period of time doesn't really work well for people who are working. In addition to that, most of the time they're kind of expensive for what you get. You do not, a lot of times you don't get full hookups and you're paying between $30 and $40 a night. We usually pay that or less and get full hookups, so it's just harder to balance when you're full-time RVer. However, there you're paying for the scenery and the experience. So we hope you get to fit some of those in as well, but keep in mind it might not be your best option as a full-timer. Number 5, which is Chris's favorite number, this is winter stays, and you need a whole different strategy for winter stays really. Number 1, try to book way ahead. Not something that we're good at all, so we are not experts on this. What I can tell you is that you have to book ahead and pick a warm place, obviously, but be prepared because some of them are really expensive, and for younger people it's a little bit harder because a lot of them that we found as we were looking through Florida, a lot of them are 55 plus communities, so keep that in mind as well. If you are looking for a place though, one that we can recommend is Sugar Sands in Gulf Shores, Alabama. We loved it there. We loved that everything was so convenient. There were a lot of different activities to do. The beach was right there, but also the campground itself was really clean, very, very friendly people. So I can recommend that. 6, and probably my personal favorite, are these small, tiny little campgrounds that are out in the middle of nowhere, and they really give you the road trip experience as opposed to an RV resort where you have all the amenities and you're looking for a beautiful stay and, you know, nice laundry and stuff like that. These are the tinier places that really don't offer a lot, usually no cable, no internet. You may or may not have cell phone service, but make them a part of your trip because they make it an authentic road trip, and you will meet great people there, and usually the locations allow you to just take in the whole experience of the area. A great one for this is Val's RV Park, and it was VALES. It was in Mexican Hat, Utah, out in the middle of the desert, and we just loved it. Our 7th and final category is free night stays. It took us about 3 months until we did our first free night stay, and that was at a Cabela's. And we really, really enjoyed it. It worked very well for us. And we've since then done multiple stays at Walmart's as well. My advice is, it's really a privilege, so make sure that you clean up after yourself, respect the policies that they have, and also purchase something from them because you want to show them your support and your gratitude. Now, boondocking is another option. My recommendation, though, for first-time RVers, just like us, is just wait. Get on the road, get comfortable with RVing, get comfortable with campgrounds, see what's out there before you buy anything. We've met a lot of people who have bought a lot of stuff up front and then they end up not using it, or they wish they had bought something else, or now they're going to sell it to try to buy they're going a different direction. So keep that in mind. Our advice is don't buy a lot of stuff. Don't let things stand in the way. Don't have to figure everything out before you hit the road. Take the leap of faith. Get on the road, you will figure it out as you go, and that's most of the fun of it anyway. And that wraps up our 7 categories for the different types of campgrounds we've stayed in over the year. We hope that's helpful to you so that you have an idea of what you can be looking forward to. All of these campgrounds, there's something to love. So keep that in mind. Any campground you go to, there's going to be something that you love about it and something that it adds to your overall road trip and full-time RVing experience. I also came up with just a couple of quick tips to help you along the way as well. The first one is to set boundaries, and if you're a couple, agree together on what it is that's going to make you leave a campground. So this has actually never happened to us, but our rule is if I don't feel comfortable somewhere, one word to Chris and we're out of there. So keep that in mind. Secondly, price. I can guarantee you that California is the most expensive place that we have been to. But keep those kind of things in mind depending on where you go. Most rates are based off of 2 people. If you have more than that, you may have to pay above the rate. Also for pets, sometimes you do have to pay extra for them as well. Number 3 is to know your needs. Make sure that you understand your needs well enough to set yourself up for a good experience. But at the same time, don't be afraid to try a couple nights in something different. You will be shocked. It will really add to your experience. And fourth and final tip of advice, there are a lot of memberships that you can join out there and a lot of clubs to try to get discounts on different campgrounds. Our recommendation is we just joined Good Sam from the beginning, and that was it. And that's still, even after a year, that's the only one that we're involved in. Some of the other ones might be great as well, but we found that for the price and then all the restrictions on them, it's not something that would work well for us, since we like to move around a lot and we don't like to plan too far in advance. So actually not even far at all in advance, like a week. So keep that in mind. But my advice is, again, don't try to figure it all out before you leave. Leave and figure it out on the road. While I was filming this video, as I mentioned, Chris was actually working on another campground in the state of Washington. So he's just going to give you a little snippet of what the fun can be like.
Yeah, calling these different places, you talk to so many different people, and they can be a lot of fun, and this one was right in line with that. So I'm trying to book a place in the state of Washington, kind of up in the Olympic National Park area, and surprisingly enough, there's actually not that many options up there. So I found one that looked good, and it was small, and the guy picked up and he rattled off some sort of quick, whatever their normal tagline is. I couldn't really understand any of it, but he stopped talking, and I said, hey, I'm interested in finding out if you guys have any RV site availability for, such and such dates. So he said, well, what date was it? And I gave it to him. He said, okay, well, hold on, let me get my reservation equipment, and please call back in a half hour. So I said, oh, okay, sure, I'll give you a call back. I'm not really sure what equipment he was talking about, but hey, no problem. I don't know his business, so I call back in a half hour, and I get a different guy, and so I basically started from scratch, and he said, "Oh yeah, okay, well sure, let me get your name and everything." I said, "Well, how about we check availability first?" He said, "Oh, well yeah, sure, but let me just get your name in case we get disconnected and your number." Sure, so I gave him that. And then he said, "Yeah, we have availability for those dates." And I said, "Great." And I said, "It's a full hookup site." And he said, "Well, yeah." And he said, "Well, just so you know, we don't have sewer." And I said, "Oh, okay," because the website says this rate for water and electric, this rate for full hookups. So doesn't sound like you have full hookups. No, we don't have full hookups. Okay. As straightforward as information can seem to be, I always like to actually talk to the folks to see what they're offering. So I was just about ready to lock it in, and then we got disconnected. So I waited a few minutes, didn't hear back from him, so I called him back, and I got the first guy that I talked to, and he rattled off his same, hello that I didn't understand. I said, well, hey, I just talked to so-and-so, and I got to finish he's like, oh, sure, yeah. And he said, what dates? And I gave him to him. He said, well, sure. Yeah, we got you in the book, and, we take a deposit, so unless you have any other questions, you're all set. I'm like, well, I didn't make the deposit yet. He was like, oh, okay, well, let me get your credit card information. So they did, and, we finished it up. But, they also offer, they have like a cafe there. So honestly, I think when I called, you get the kitchen, you get the cook. He's making burgers while he's taking your reservation. So he's got a few hats on, and they did a good job. But it was fun talking to him, and that kind of thing happens from time to time when you're booking as many campsites as we are.
Right, and it's always fun. So
Yeah.
keep that kind of attitude, or else you might be driven nuts.
Right.
So-
Oh yeah. You gotta keep it humorous, and
and be
goes just
prepared to
fine.
spend time on it, because you may think that
Yeah, it turns into an hours long process. I mean, and, I've got my Good Sam's catalog. I'm online. I'm checking this and that, and it's time consuming. You just got to be patient.
right, and there's some that they don't really have an office, so you can leave a message, but they won't get back to you till the next day, and
Yeah, a lot of phone tag.
yeah, so
Yeah.
just keep that in mind. If you're
Yep.
if you're moving as fast as we are, you're going to spend a lot of time trying to get campgrounds, and your requirements will shrink with the amount of time as
That's
the amount
right.
of time
Yeah.
expands.
Standards go down,
Yeah.
and you're just happy to get a place.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. So we hope you enjoyed this video. We hope that it is helpful to you. Even though we didn't really have any worst campground experiences, this helps you to avoid some of the challenges and see what it's really like, and hopefully encourages you, because there are beautiful places, beautiful campgrounds, and there are people at these campgrounds that are just waiting to meet you and to be encouraged by you and to be encouraging to you. So we hope that this really helps you and encourages you to make the leap and explore and try some of those campgrounds that you might not be comfortable with. Thanks for watching.
Thanks.